Let's help support Dr. Arnold Doobay's humanitarian effort throughout the world. He's focused on South America and is moving further into Africa and other areas. 80% of these NFTs will be donated to Arnie's 3 levels of support. As you can see there are various levels you can be a part of. Available on OpenSea.io, RSC Graphic Collection. You know, they always say the only thing constant is change. And today it is very, very true. Our guest for today had some personal issues, but we have actually an even more important guest. And you will see what I mean in just a moment. This is the Swarm Unplugged podcast, where we get to know the Be Social community and encourage others to join us. With hundreds in the community, we want to get to know all of you better. From the newbie to the expert to the project partners, we will be learning who they are and how they can best benefit from Be Social. I'm Christopher Knight, so let's get started. You know, life is so amazing. We have so many opportunities, so many things that we can do if we're creative and we think ahead and we put things together. Today, certainly, we've changed direction, not necessarily on purpose, but we changed direction out of necessity. And fortunately, I believe that we've hit even a better podcast than even we would have had otherwise, because we are so honored to have our guest today, Dr. Arnold Doobay. And of course, I'm always honored to have my co-host, Tony K.
Wow.
Tony,
did you say that was an honor? You said
did.
It was an honor?
I gave you,
really?
I gave you a break. I gave you a real break today, even though you've been a real jerk to me today. That's all right. You know, I can be calm and come back. I don't
even know how to handle it.
I know. Well, that's the reason you don't know what to say now, do you? All right, see,
I'm absolutely speechless.
Well, you know, the reason I was so kind is because we are so honored today with our guest that I just wanted to be a nice guy instead of being a jerk like I normally am. Right?
Oh, so okay. You're showing your good side. That's what you're
I am showing my good side only because of our guest, but otherwise, Katie bar the door. Anything is possible. So, what do you think of what's happening here? You know,
I am thrilled. I really am, because I didn't get to see a couple of the things that Arnie has done, and so this is going to be this is fantastic, because I think he's about to go jet setting. And I was told, I think I mentioned to you or Rick, I'd love to talk to Arnie again. And I think one of you guys said, well, if you want to do that, you better get ready to get on a plane and you better stand in line, because this man is high demand. I mean, high demand. So for us to see Arnie right now is just absolutely a blessing.
So yeah, as you know, we're on the top of his list because he's already visited with everybody else. So we now have risen to the top of his list of people he wants to visit with, since he's already seen Mark and Patrick and Tim and all the other folks. And, so I guess we've risen up a little as far as on his list of people to see. But rather than chit chat, I tell you what I want to learn about is where Arnie is headed, what his plans are, and I want the audience to understand how he can be supported. So what do you think we take it away and bring him in? Hello, Arnie.
Hey, guys, Chris and Tony, what a joy it is to see you guys. I love to see your smiles. that lightens me. And Chris, you were talking about honoring Tony, and Tony is back on you, but you made a statement. We are honored. And You are, both of you. You are two honorable men.
Oh,
God
wow.
bless you all for that. Yeah, I just love Be Social. That listen, Be Social is honored by God. I am just uh, a little whiz in a corner. As I tell people, I am just God's little hand extended. That's all I am. And no, no, it's not me. I see Be Social. That's what I see. I see Be Social, and I see what God is doing in Be Social. Yesterday we had a tremendous time as we launched our first Be Social honey time. Oh man, I love that. I was, you know,
And,
I was speaking with who was it? Yeah, I was speaking with Richie, and I was telling him why. The thought that struck me about honey and honey time is, as bees are very important to our environment and to our health. Very, very important. And what is the work of the bees? They pollinate. They produce honey, which is sweet. And the fruit, which is honey, that is sweet, is beneficial to us. And the thought struck me that as bees, that's exactly what we are doing. We are pollinating the people in our society, that they can be sweeter, more fragrant, and be fruitful as they become sustainable. Isn't that wonderful? Oh
oh,
man,
yeah.
I am excited. I am
That,
excited to be a little bee.
you
That's what I
know,
am. A
Arnie,
little bee.
I wish we could get some of those. You said the fragrance and everything. I'm hoping we can get some of that pollen sprinkled over Chris because I've been around him a few times, and it. Let me tell you, you could use some good fragrance. I'm just
You
saying,
know,
you
you
know.
know why? You know why you didn't get a fragrance? It's because of COVID. You're wearing the COVID shield. But
Uh,
Chris has a lot of fragrance, man.
yeah, and but I did shower this morning. Okay, Arnie. All right, just so you know.
Allegedly,
Yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Arnie,
Listen, listen.
you are headed.
There's a lot of inner fragrance. It
Yeah,
is the inner
inner
fragrance that is
fragrance. Yeah,
important.
exactly. Let me check here. Hang on a
Oh,
second.
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got to do what you can do. But I know you've got some big things that are coming up very quickly. When do you travel next, Arnie?
I leave on Saturday night. I'm heading to Guyana
Wow,
for two reasons. One, we have a shipment of a 40-foot container filled with medical supplies.
wow.
It's a lot of value in
Wow.
there, going to the government, and I want to make sure that I clear it and it goes into the government bond.
Yeah.
You know what happens in some of these developing countries. So I'm heading down for that, and also to talk to them about housing for the needy. I am pitching big time. I am pitching Be Social and our Opus big time.
Super.
So,
Absolutely.
so what kind of stuff would you pitch for Opus? I mean, give like if I was listening to what you would say, what would that be?
What that is, listen, we are living in a period of transition. The world is changing. We look at COVID. COVID has changed the world. We would never be what we were. And when we look at the economic world, we are seeing a transition. We are seeing a change taking place. And if we were to sit back, we're going to lose out big time. And I believe God has raised up Bees Social as an international community to do something that maybe somebody else is doing it. I don't know, but I haven't come across anybody doing it, doing what Be Social is doing. Two things. One, they're educating the people
Mm-hmm.
about cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? How is it used? How does that impact our nation? How do I, as an individual, benefit from cryptocurrency? And we look at what's happening around the world. Several countries have embraced cryptocurrency as their own currency. Just this year, we had the last one that I knew of was El Salvador.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, that's their currency now. The president of Ecuador was speaking about cryptocurrency, and I'm sure he's going to be walking that path very soon. I'm also sure that he has already heard what we are doing. We have got thousands of people who are involved in cryptocurrency, and the excitement is growing like crazy. People are getting more and more excited. Wait until we start the actual building. Right now is just the model houses that we are putting up. When we do start the construction, you're going to see what's going to happen in that country. And Colombia is seeing and hearing what's happening, and Colombia is picking up momentum now. They are registering a lot of people on Opus, and what we have done is, as we have tried to get them to understand. Listen, go on the social website. All the education you will find there pertaining to what cryptocurrency is, how it is used, how you can benefit from it. And listen, we're not only educating, we're supporting. And the way we support you is to put the tools, as I was saying to the folks yesterday on our call. I said, if you came to me and you asked me to train you as an electrician, I teach you, I train you, I give you all the practical that you need, and you're qualified. And I say, God bless you. Go out and be a great electrician. Is he going to be successful? No, no. Not until he has the tools. The tools is what he needs to put into practice what he has learned. And that's what Be Social is doing. We give them the tool of Opus, and they're working on that. And they're being educated how this can pick up momentum. Later on, I believe that Opus is going to be something big. That's just in my heart. I believe that, and I am conveying that message to our people. Don't give up.
Arnie, let me ask you a quick question. You said that you've got a 40-foot container filled of medication. That is a huge amount of medication. What kind of medicine are you hoping to?
It's basically supplies for COVID. Things like masks, things like gloves, things like sanitizers.
Wow.
It's a good bit. It's about
and where do you get all of those supplies? Where do you get all those from?
I have a very good friend who owns a shipping company, and what he did, there were people in Canada who bought stuff, and they couldn't sell it.
Wow.
And so this was donated, and we bought some, and some were donated. And that's how we were able to say. We send also a 40-foot container to St. Vincent and the Grenadines because of their disaster. You remember the volcano disaster that they had. Then we had a third container that is in Trinidad and Tobago right now. And one of my board members, she's down there clearing that, but that has some medicals, but mostly food and clothing to distribute to the poor people.
What kind of access do they have for vaccinations, Arnie?
The government is still struggling with that, but they're picking up momentum. They're trying their best to, being a third developing country, to vaccinate their people.
Okay. Now, when you were on your program yesterday, what were the key questions that people were asking from South America? Because the vast part of that audience was all from South America, as I noticed, because I was on as well. But what were the key questions they were asking you?
Well, the key questions were basically focused on the Opus and also on M2. Those were the main focus. Some people were having problems with their opus as far as um, regaining their 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 opus Oz. They may have forgotten their password, and we tell them that that's key. You lose that, you lose everything.
Yeah.
So some people are learning the hard way, and others are were looking at the M2 token and how they can get involved. And that is something our folks down there are trying to walk them through. We had a few people who have already, bought quite a good bit of M2 tokens. Yeah.
Now, are you you're the people that you're going down to in where you're going next, and what is the town that you're actually going to
I'm going down to
in
Guyana, and I'll be in the capital. That
in the
that is
capital,
Georgetown. Yeah.
Georgetown? Now,
Georgetown.
are you doing the same? Are they getting M2? Are you like before? I think it was 1038 or something. I don't remember exactly, but is it the same kind of program or?
Well, we will do, once we have the opportunity, we will do the same type of program, and we will try to tweak things, learning from our little mistakes here and there.
Sure.
But we haven't launched Opus in Guyana as yet.
Oh,
And this
so
is
that's the plan to do that when you
that's
get
the
there.
plan,
Wow.
to be able to do it there and also in Trinidad and Tobago.
And how can Be Social help with that, Arnie? Is that something we should be able to put on another show where we can do what we did before? Do you think that would be any help? I mean, what do you suggest we could do to help?
I think once I get down there and I see the situation, I can be able to communicate with you guys and see how we can make this public, to talk about Be Social. I think that would be the first step, that the people get an awareness as to who Be Social is, what they do, and how they do it.
Gotcha.
I think that would be the first step that we will be going. I'll be meeting with the government officials because they're the ones who are requesting assistance with housing.
So, how much interplay do you have with the governments of these countries? How
Well,
much interaction, and at what level of interaction?
mainly at the government and at the church level. Um, we've been doing medical in Guyana for 30 years, medical missions, with the exception of last year and this year due to COVID. And we have always worked with the government. Thank God we have got a good reputation with the government. They know what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. And we don't blow our trumpets. We don't fly a flag. We keep a low profile. I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's important, especially in those third world countries, because there's some real landmines that you have to step over in those countries to be
Well,
successful, right?
what we do in all countries, we do not work top bottom. We work bottom up.
Ah,
And so
okay.
Very good.
by doing that, the government comes to you. You don't go to the government to start a project. Let the project be the people's project. We show the people what they need to do or how they need to do it. We gave them the support. It's their project. And then they take it from there. When the government hears about it, the government wants them to come in. And that's where we come in with the government and say, well, we are the supporters of these projects, and sort of bring the church and the government together to work.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
has worked beautifully for every country that we have been in.
That's a great formula. That after you take care of overseeing the delivery of this medication, where do you head next?
Oh, from Guyana, I'm going to Trinidad because we are setting up an office in Trinidad, and we're going to be talking there again about Be Social. And then from there, I head back to Colombia, where they by that time, by the end of this month, they would be ready to launch in Colombia. So we're going to be doing that. I'll be there for maybe about 7 to 10 days. Then we go to Peru, and
Wow.
we'll be in Peru for about 4 or 5 days. From Peru, we come back to Ecuador, and I'm going to be in Ecuador for about a month,
Wow.
and then to Panama for about a week, and back to Canada sometime in October, I guess.
How many different vaccinations have you had so far, Ernie?
Well, I only had the two, AstraZeneca, but I have to take the test.
Well, I thought traveling those countries, you'd have to have other kinds of vaccinations as well.
I keep myself properly in good health with my relevant vaccinations, like yellow fever and that sort of a thing.
Right. That's what I was referring to. That type of thing.
I keep up those
Yeah.
vaccinations.
You do. You look fantastic. I hope that when you get to my age, you can look still as good. When you get to my age, Arnie. So
Well, that is only 25 years from now.
at least.
Well, Arnie, as we always like to do, we like to honor you with some video. And so I think we have a little video we'd like just to show and to honor you. Rick, go right ahead, sir. You are our silent hero, my friend, our silent hero. Now, you're traveling into so many locations. I want to know what your vision is. What let's take it out a ways. Let's project into the future. And I know you envision it all the time. Knowing you, I know it's always in your mind. What is next? Because I can see it. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. What's next in the next 3 to 5 years, and what you're doing right now? What's that? What do you see in 3 to 5 years, Arnie?
What I see in 3 to 5 years, first of all, we want to establish our offices in the Caribbean, which would be in Trinidad. The one in Ecuador is already established. We have our people on the ground already. It's just to set up the office in Ethiopia and one in Thailand. The Thailand is going to cover the Asian countries. The one in Ethiopia is going to cover the African continent. The one in Ecuador is going to cover the Latin speaking, the Spanish speaking countries. And the one in Trinidad will cover all the English speaking Caribbean islands and the Brazil. So those offices, we are trusting God that we would be able to establish them this coming year. But as far as the overall vision for the work, our people in Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya, and Ethiopia are waiting for to launch Be
Wow.
Social. They're waiting.
That's
Um,
huge.
yeah, it is
Hmm.
because in our largest audience is in Ethiopia. Our association there is about at least 28 million people, and that is the one that I really want to 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 get my hand on and my teeth into. And I don't think it's going
Uh,
to take too long to do that. I just want to be able to get the Latin American uh, fire going and get people
mhm.
responsible and let them run with it. And then I'm going to be heading to Africa either before the end of the year or very early in next year to be able to launch Be Social in Africa. Yeah.
Well, there's something coming up that we've all been looking forward to, and I know you have, and it is coming soon. But the how do you see the Drupal program helping you in the future?
I think we are. I know I'm excited for Drupal to come on stream because I think with Drupal we're going to have so much more to offer people, and with the excitement that people already have with Drupal, we are going to be putting more ammunition in their hands to get the work really extended in their country and in their continent.
Mhm. And how exactly do you think that? How is that going to work? I'm not clear on how it works. Can you help me out there?
Well, if we were to look at our focus in three specific areas: education, and I mean every aspect of education and training, from kindergarten, not just to let's say grade 12 or secondary level. We're going to have skills training. We're going to have people training in different fields. uh, for example, a farmer can be in his field and getting education as to how he can be more productive in what he does. In other words, training people to work smarter, not harder,
Hmm.
giving them the right tools.
Hmm.
That's what we are looking for in education. We have training that will involve even building drones. They can go
Wow.
that far. We can teach them to do that. Then the second aspect is health. We have a comprehensive service in the health area, or in the area of health. We do clinical services, We do CMEs, which is continuing medical education for all medical professionals. In other words, bringing them up to par with what's happening in the field of medicine. We
Wow.
do we help with supply of equipment and medical supplies. We also help with the construction of medical facilities. So we do a comprehensive service in the health aspect. One of our projects, as we talk about health, one of our projects in Ecuador is an air ambulance project of 3 helicopters and 2 aircrafts, 2 small aircrafts. And that is
Wow.
going to service
Wow.
Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru, those
Wow.
3 countries. I mean, you're talking about thousands of lives that will be saved on an annual basis once
Wow.
we have that service in place. When we talk of education, um, this is an exciting one. Ecuador sits on the equator,
Hmm.
and the center of the equator is in Quito. It is the
Keto.
most strategic point on the planet to be able to get the best view of the galaxies. And so we have an astronomy project that's going to be going up there. That our project holder, as I called her, is a professor in the university, and it's a lady. She is in contact with Russia, with the US, with Australia, with the Chinese, with the Japanese, and they have an annual conference. And that project, we are going to looking at funding that project because that project is going to make Ecuador a real, I can't find a word to describe it, but it's going to be a focal point
Mm.
for tourism, especially
Wow.
people who want to see the stars, if you know what
Mm.
I mean. You know, um,
Wow.
so that's really exciting, and but that's all in education. And the third aspect, I mentioned education and health. The third aspect is sustainability, community sustainability. We have we it's not that we would not, it depends on the project. We are trying to avoid individual prosperity, and we are looking at community sustainability,
Wow.
Yeah.
getting people to think community wise, not individually.
Are you speaking in terms of like food
Yep.
harvesting and uh,
Agriculture on the
pure
whole.
pure water and all
Yep.
the other good stuff? Yeah.
Every aspect,
Yeah.
even if it comes to, let's say, processing and packaging for export,
Hmm.
that kind of a thing. E- Project should be community project,
Mm.
Yeah. I
teaching
know it.
people to work together, to look out for one another, to help one another, just like what we are doing. Be social is not about us, it's about others. Granted,
Mhm.
yes, there are benefits for the people who are involved, but the focus and the objective is to reach out to help someone else. And that's what Grupo is going to be doing, reaching out to help other people. I mentioned those 3 areas of education, health, and sustainability. Grupo, it's going to strengthen that and enhance it in its service capacity. I can see where Grupo, even governments are going to knock at the doors of Grupo and ask for help, because
Oh, wow.
we are looking at things like, for example, if you were to take animals, the protection of certain wildlife, like the white rhinos, the elephants, when we think of marine life, the protection of certain species within the marine life. those are things that are important to our environment. We have a healthy environment, we would live healthy lives. That's why we are bees.
Well, I know you're into education, Tony. Uh, I know that you have something to say about that.
You know, what I want to know, more importantly than anything, is how do you have the energy to do this, Arnie? I just stand back in awe and wonder if there's any kind of way or tip you can give us to have the kind of endurance. And forget about the vision and everything else. That's way beyond my comprehension. I don't even know how you stay so focused on what you're doing. How do you have the energy to do it? I'm just in awe over it.
I only have one answer to that. I believe that I am in God's will. That's what I believe. And because I believe that, I know without a shadow of a doubt, my strength comes from the Lord. That's
Very good.
that's where I am.
Well, the strength also comes from the people you work with. And here's a short video of you're educating them in order to work with the Opus ID. Rick, could you handle that?
Muy buenos días. Estamos aquí en Sevilla haciendo la instalación de la aplicación Opus ID a los líderes de muchas comunidades donde van a ser replicadas las aplicaciones. Estamos educándoles, enseñándoles cómo se instala la aplicación. Don Farley, un saludito. Don Farley es el proyectista de nosotros y nos está llevando a la comunidad para instalar la aplicación Opus ID. Esas personas son líderes que nos van a ayudar a replicar la aplicación en otras comunidades y poder crecer y cumplir nuestros objetivos.
Wow.
A community gathered together for one purpose, right, Arnie?
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That has to be so uplifting. I mean, you've got a dozen people there and that's probably a speck of what you've been exposed to and seeing. You can see the intensity and the joy as well on their faces of getting something. I mean, they truly are. Jeff definitely in a grateful heart for your time there. I can see it eminently.
Well, we also have another one that shows a family receiving some funds from NFT. Let's take a look at that for a moment and chat about that afterwards.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Joel Alexander Lara Hernández, soy uno de los beneficiarios del proyecto Vivienda. Con lágrimas en los ojos, agradezco a toda la sociedad por este magno evento y por lo que están haciendo por nuestra familia. Agradezco a todas las personas que están haciendo posible de tener nuestra casa propia. A continuación, mi familia quiere agradecerles.
Mi nombre es Nicolara, soy integrante de esta hermosa familia. Me siento muy contenta y emocionada de haber recibido esta noticia tan hermosa, creo yo, y felicitar a la asociación, a la organización y felicitar a esas personas que han caído del cielo prácticamente. También quiero brindarles a las personas que comparten esta emoción, como son los otros beneficiarios, que sigan luchando por sus sueños, que apoyemos a esta linda organización que ha caído del cielo. Dios los bendiga.
Dios le pague.
Well, so what I see there, Arnie, and I've seen it since I've been following you and with you and everything, and the families there are so tight. I mean, they're so bonded, and it shames me how our families are here in North America. I mean, it's nowhere close to that. But that bonding and that sincerity and and we with so much care sometimes so little for our own family.
That's that's a different story. It's hard to tell. When we did our last video in Ecuador, that boy and his mother traveled 3 hours. They heard what we were doing and they wanted to see us and to meet us. And they waited until we had finished the celebration and they handed over. And they asked to see me. And they came together, the boy and his mother. And when they told me their story, how their father left them, mother and 6 children, sold the house that they were living in, and left them on the streets. And for years, they've been living on the streets. The only way they would support themselves, they would cook little food stuff and they would sell it. And they had enough money just to be able to rent a little room. And sometimes when they didn't, on several occasions, they didn't have money to pay the rent. And the landlord would kick them out like dogs in the street. Those were their words, not mine. And they told me that story with tears. The only thing I could have done was to hug them and cry with them. And then I prayed with them afterward. And when I finished praying with them, I said to them, by the grace of God, you will get a house. That's all I said. And they left. Then when I came up to the States, I had a message from Rick, and he said he wanted to give a gift, and he did. And from his time he said that, and the moment I received that, I knew where it was going. And that gift went toward getting a house for that family. If you look carefully in that video, you're going to realize that it's a one room they're living in. And if you look a little more closely, you're going to see the condition of the walls of that room. So I just want to thank God that God is a God who hears the heart cries of people and he provides. And I'm very happy that he provided that for this family. Now, I didn't know that they were listening in to the broadcast yesterday. And right after the broadcast, they sent that video to Myra. And they spoke with Myra. Myra told me that the mother was crying while talking to her, how thankful they are to know that one day they will have a home and a shelter under which they can live. That's the story of that video.
And the story of the folks in Rick, come on here for a second with us, all right? And a story of people who are willing to do things for others. Rick, wonderful, my friend, wonderful.
God bless you, brother. Both you and your sister.
Need your volume, your video, your voice on, Rick. Yeah. So.
Thank you. When I received the message from Arnie, his gratitude of us donating 80% of the sale of some NFTs, and when he told us that it would go to a family. We did not know which one. Later on, he messaged us and said it was going to the family that walked 3 hours or traveled 3 hours. And my sister and I, were so choked up we couldn't even talk to each other. And I'm so glad that we can do this, and we are continuing to do this. We have 3 different levels for those that may not be financially well enough to purchase the first and original NFT, but we have 2 other ones, and we will continue to support you as long as the people in our community support you as well. And I'm glad that we're able to do this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
There are three levels, so anyone can participate. It's not for the rich and famous. It's for those who have just enough money to care enough to help out a wonderful family that Arnie is close to. And Rick, before we close the program, I want to make sure we show your promo ad again, okay? So, all right, Arnie, it's been wonderful to have you today. Thank you so much for being with us. And, we all are always following you. And anytime that we can be the face of what you're doing, we'll jump right in, and we'll get the everything tuned up so it's ready to be broadcast worldwide. Any way that we can help, please call on us. Will you please?
Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Tony, and thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
All right.
Keep doing what you're doing, which is very good.
Thank you, Arnie.
Yeah,
all right. Talk to you soon. All right. Well, guys, I don't know. Seeing that last one of that family after they'd learned that money was coming to build that home from Rick and his efforts.
Wow.
I've got tears in my eyes right now, Rick. I don't know, but you have to pardon me.
Let's not leave out Sister Cindy.
I was just gonna say Cindy as well. I'm sure Chris would have as well, but
yeah, I'm sorry, Cindy. I didn't mean to leave you out. Of course, my dear. As you always say, after you say you like Tony, you say you love me too. But so I'll say after I like, thank you, Rick. I'll say, all right, I forgot about you. So there you go, tit for tat, my dear. But anyway, nobody knows what we're talking about, so I should just hush.
There you go.
That being said, that was a tremendous episode for the Swarm Unplugged. How fortunate are we to have looked at, of course, a guest we'd hoped it would come on, but be so fortunate to have Arnie available to tell his stories and to be here for everybody. He's not here just for himself, that's for darn sure. He's here for as many people as he can reach out to. And I know that you both agree that any way we can help him, we are going to do, regardless of what it takes.
Absolutely.
And it's already being done at this time. All right. Now, Tony, anything you'd like to say before we close?
It's always such a joy to have Arnie on, and I hope that next week and the following week we can jump in and do what we need to do. And of course, as you've already said, I'm just echoing what you said, Chris and Rick. And I do think that I wear this hat better than what Rick does. I do want to point that out while I've got the audience, just so you know. Even though it came from Rick, I think I wear it better. So,
Well, you haven't seen me with mine on yet, so how can you say that
let's
yet?
not go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony,
well done, Cindy.
Tony, most people would say you're wearing the hat because of better than I because of your accent. So I'll give you
I'm wearing the hat because Cindy was gracious enough to send it to me because I know she cares about me and she sends me that love every day. I feel it. So I'm just saying.
All right.
Let's move on to Rick. Let's show your promo again. And folks, if you haven't already looked at these NFTs at these various levels of participation, and 80% of it does go directly to Arnie, and now we know exactly who it goes to through Arnie. It makes it even more special. So, Rick, why don't we show your promo, and then let's finish with the ending of the program outro. Okay.
Okay.
Let's help support Dr. Arnold Doobay's humanitarian effort throughout the world. He's focused on South America and is moving further into Africa and other areas. 80% of these NFTs will be donated to Arnie's 3 levels of support. As you can see there are various levels you can be a part of. Available on OpenSea.io, RSC Graphic Collection. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Swarm Unplugged podcast. Be sure to hit the follow button and leave us a glowing comment. Gravitate yourself to be on the podcast so you are the next one to introduce themselves to the Bee social community. See you on the next episode.